These are the two Tundras we were working on today. We put on two rear shocks, and it worked out pretty well with Keith's planning.
Okay, where it's going uphill,
Yeah.
we're going to have to pick the back of the sled up.
Okay, you want me to do that?
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah. I guess you probably have to use both your hands, David, and pick it.
It working?
Yeah, before I was getting hung up on a... See, it doesn't like to get by the...
What do you want me to raise up?
You gotta pick it up. The bolts,
The front?
the back,
You want me to...
I think. The bolts, see the...
So what did you have to do there?
Well, I think that this bolt, see where you have the excess bolt and the nut on the inside?
Yeah.
I think if it were to be the opposite, just to have the head of the bolt inside,
Yeah.
it wouldn't get hung up on the track.
Okay.
So that maybe someday we'll have to flip both bolts.
Yeah.
That's what kept it from going underneath.
Makes sense.
Was the bolts hitting.
Now this thing is on wheels, and so you can push it like we're doing here. But there's not a lot of clearance, so it likes a nice flat. You all right?
Yeah, wait, I'm good.
It likes a nice flat floor. Hold on. Somebody's sticking here. So we've been changing the shocks, the rear shock out of two Tundras. They're late '80 Tundras, short tracks. And Keith found a way to get this stuff done without having to pull everything off. You want to give just a short rundown on how things were accomplished?
Sure. Here's the replacement shock that I'm about to put in, but basically I broke everything free. The axle bolts, the bolts on the idler wheels, and then the track tension bolts, and backed everything off just so to relieve the tension on the track and whatnot. Then I took a piece of small nylon rope and basically bound this bound the rail to the cross member up here, so that when I pulled the shock out and whatnot, the suspension wouldn't flex open, which it did move a little, but it helped tremendously. And what we ended up doing, because there's rivets, there's rivets here on this reinforcing bracket, but they're on the inside also. So in order to get the shaft out, to clear by the rivets, which this is going to go in good now that we have it out, but we
had to spread things out a
we
little
had
bit.
to spread the rails, and I don't.
How did you do that? Just with
hold on, this is going to be a goober. So basically, I used small pry bar, and I just went in off the track and
where did it come up?
and I just went in through one of the windows on the track and up against the rail, and
Yeah.
I forced it outward. You can see it flex, and that allowed the axle to clear those rivets.
See it, and then move that so that way this part here can be moved out past those rivets that he was mentioning.
And once you get that out, it's just a reverse process putting it back together.
So we didn't have to pull everything out, which is nice, right?
That's right. Works
Cool.
good.
And once we got it down, probably the whole process, right? In and out. If the, you know, once this is on a lift, it's probably about 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, 30, 45 minutes.
30, 45 minutes.
Yeah, somewhere
Which is
around
awesome.
there. Yeah. So
Thanks. So what was something we learned about it when you were trying to put the shock in, the top pin in the shock, or the, you explain.
the top, yeah, pin through the bushing in the shock. Well, the first Tundra we did, we had this set up with a board under the track because it was the height allowed it. So this Tundra we started, we couldn't get this pin in. It wouldn't align because something was twisted. So we put a board under the track to spread the pressure out between both rails. And when David pulled down on it, I was able to orientate this enough to slide it through. So
the board, so instead of just having, what is that,
just a post.
6x6 or something?
Yeah.
You put up, we spread out the pressure more, and then I'm just pushing down on here, like we talked about earlier in the video, pushing down here so the holes will line up. All right, we had one other thing we wanted to explain.
When
We put this in blocks first, right?
well,
This is after we put the new shock in, right?
we put the shaft in the base of the shock. The shaft's in. The hardware is just finger tight. The eye of the shock will not fit into the top cross member.
Yeah.
It's short by
Oh, you see.
about 3/4 of an inch. So what we did is we blocked up under the track in the area of where the cross member to the shock is.
Yeah.
And I'll simply have David compress the back of the
I'll just
snowmobile.
push my fat weight
and
down.
that will compress the suspension, and I can slide the shock in place.
Let's see what the difference is. Okay, so it's not a huge difference,
No.
but nothing's gonna happen until that's compressed.
So we'll get that, and we just slide the pin in.
All right.
We had some PBRs and some Rebel Yell after all that hard work. Thanks a lot, Keith. Good job.